Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Peace Luv Biz. I'm your host Steve Higgins, and we're joined by Mary Roach, the chief headbanger, Miss Help Me Help You, um, deep in the heart of tax season, running into a lot of, I don't know if you want to call them problem clients, but people that don't understand time of year and things that are going on. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah,
kind of like
how are
telling
you
a
doing?
retailer at Christmas that the 25th is 2 days away. They're aware. They know.
Yeah, yeah.
I started to laugh. I apologize. I started laughing because you said deep in the heart, and then you said taxes, and in my head I was like, why are we in Texas? I
Deep in the heart of yeah, just rearrange the letters and you're right there, aren't you?
yeah, I'm like, where is he going with this?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't know.
So I have a
Um,
question this week. How are you doing?
um, I feel disheveled. I feel stressed, but I actually feel really good today. Um,
Good.
it's I kind of reset a little bit and regrouped, and I think that we're doing good things. Well, I know that we're doing good things,
Yeah.
but we are definitely in productive mode. I've done some really good meetings with people that have really realigned and refocused my target and what I'm trying to do. So I think we're in a
That's
good place. So, what about you?
I'm surviving. So for everybody out there listening, this is Steven's first real tax year, tax season with me. And
Yeah.
I asked him because I typically do have a total flip and meltdown at some point, and I had it, and it was bad. And Steven was like, "Oh my God, this is actually real."
Yeah. And I was
And he
trying to
got
be
to
as
experience it with with me.
I was trying to be as supportive as I could be without showing my fear, my my own insecurities with the whole thing, and I'm like, we can do this. We can do this. I was essentially had a I don't know what you call it, a paper bag in my own head, like in and out, in and out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we got through the other end. We're just taking it one thing at a time, one return at a time, one month end at a time,
That's all you can
and
do. Like,
yeah,
all you can do is just one thing at a time. No more than that. We're only human. I mean, we're
and
amazing, but we're only human.
the commitment to ensuring that it is not a tax year and it is just the tax season is real for us.
Oh yeah,
So we we're doing everything we can for that.
yeah.
But
As it
today's topic,
is, April 30th is going to be my deadline, but
yeah,
still better than an entire year.
yeah, exactly, and we'll still have those people that come to us in July saying, "Hey, I need to file taxes,"
Hmm.
and we'll be happy to help because if anybody does need any help with tax filing, then you're welcome to reach out. We'll file extensions and stuff, so go to peacelovebiz.com and put a contact form in. We'll get back to you pretty quickly. Um, but yeah, it's never too late to ask for help. So definitely take advantage of that. Today's topic, though, is going to be a fun one. Because there's a few things to touch on around fraud or fraud, as you guys say in America. Fraud.
Yeah.
Kind of like
Fraud.
frog with a D. Yeah, frog with a D is how I have to think about it when I say it.
Mm.
Um, and then that just makes me think of ribbits and stuff. Never mind. Anyway, yeah. So how to protect small businesses from fraud? And now I can't stop thinking about how I say that. So, there's a few things we're going to touch on. Definitely from more of an educational standpoint, how to protect yourselves, how to make sure you don't get caught in traps and things like that. Obviously, getting a professional to take care of your books, take care of your accounting side is always going to help protect you. But Mary is a master of forensic auditing and forensic accounting. Some of the stuff she
Mm.
picks up on is insane. Um, this week in particular, um, do we want to just dive in and just
Yeah.
talk a little bit about this one? So
Yeah.
one of the common types of fraud that people experience is invoice fraud. And
Hmm.
you know, there's vendors that are going to pay people, and sometimes the numbers won't match up. And that's what's happened this week with one of our clients. And thankfully, Mary's the one that's gone through and's been like, I can't make sense of this. Why is this not adding up? Um, and Mary's obviously done what she does and figures out what's gone on. So, do you want to dive in a little bit on that?
Yeah. So, first thing is, just don't take someone's word for it. If they say the total thing that they're sending is $12,000 and they say these are all the invoices, make sure they add up. Don't just assume it. Like, go through, make sure that the invoice that they're paying, if they're paying multiple invoices, five, six invoices, and they're listing them, make sure that their number on their invoice that they're sending over for remittance matches the one that you originally sent them. That's number one. Um, uh, that's for starters. Number two, um, you know, if it is, you got to look at that stuff because it's real easy to just click and go, oh, okay, it's fine. And then at the end, it doesn't add up. So they may have all the numbers there, but the total is really 15,000, not 12,000. There's another thing. There's another error. There's another red flag. The problem becomes is in this case there were, oh god, I'm trying to think. There was a difference of like close to 2 grand, and then I went into the next thing from the next client or from the same client, their next payment, and none of the invoice numbers. First of all, there wasn't the correct invoice numbers or missing numbers from the invoice, and then the amounts were off. Then I go to the next one, and it just kept repeating. So now I've got to go through the deposits I have for this year, double check everything, redo it, and then I've got to do a whole audit on them for the last 2 years because in this situation, we've already had embezzlement and payroll fraud um, from hired help. So now we're going down a rabbit hole of a second time of fraud. Um, and it just, I mean, I love what I do. That one client, he has a heart of gold. And now I'm like, damn, again?
Yeah.
Like, there's just, pay attention. Like, just the smallest things. You may think it's nothing. It's everything.
Well,
It's
and
everything.
it is, and it snowballs. Like you said, it was just the instance on one invoice, and then the next one, and then it builds that case and the pattern for that vendor.
Hmm.
It's like, okay, how long has he worked with that vendor? How long has that person then been essentially screwed out of X amount of money? And what is the result of that?
Well, and
It could
unfortunately, I
be,
have to go bigger because we've already had an existing case where the person that was getting this was supposed before I came along, they were doing this. They were recording the payments, and then I just match up on the banking side of it. And now I'm like, I hate thinking it. I hate thinking the worst because when I do, I'm normally right. That's the problem. Like
yeah.
I I'm usually right in everything that I say I know because I don't go outside my lane. I don't jump into things I'm not good at. So I look at it and go, I really think this has been going on a while, and she could have been doing it. Because even that, I'm going through payments, and I'm like, how were these invoices already marked as paid? They were already marked as paid, but they weren't paid. So were you, I don't know, were you siphoning money off into another account through Square? Because that was another part. Like, if you don't have access to all your Square, to your Stripe, to your merchant services, and someone else does, and you own the company, get them off of it. Get him off of it. Don't even have me on it. Have my own login, a guest access. That's your biggest. I don't care who you know and who you trust. If you own the company, you're the only one that should have access to where that money goes in and out. That's it.
Yep. And it's funny, you you helped somebody get a new bank account set up,
Yep.
and before the bank account manager who was opening the account could finish the question, do you want anybody else adding to the no, nobody
Yep.
else.
Nobody
Immediately
else.
cut him off.
Uh-huh.
It was great. But that's the thing, you need to have control and ownership. Um, but when you are hiring help and you are hiring people, make sure it's a professional that knows what they're doing, not somebody that thinks, oh, I've used QuickBooks before. It
Well,
doesn't work.
take the emotion out of it. Like,
Yeah,
don't get me wrong. Like, we have an amazing team. I love our team. So the first time I talk with somebody, when we're onboarding somebody, whether it's our team or a client, I check the energy. If that energy doesn't match, I don't care how smart you are. There's something about your gut. It know the energy they're giving off. Every time we have onboarded either a client or a team person, and I've gone, something's wrong. I don't trust this energy. I've been right.
yeah, yeah.
Steven
Uh,
gives benefit of the doubt to everybody. I rarely do it. Rarely ever. I mean, it takes because it's not. There's something more there. I just don't. Yeah, if I don't, if my gut says no, it's a no.
yeah, and that's my problem. I want to believe that people are better than they portray themselves a little bit sometimes.
Hey,
Um,
there are good people out there. There you just there's a lot of shit ones too. So it's
yeah,
you know, and we see it. I mean, I see it for all the fraud. You hear about all the fraud. God, I mean, that just broke my heart. Like seeing another, I was like, oh my God, I really hope I'm wrong. I really hope it's an innocent mistake. Unfortunately, I've gone through four sets of payments and all of them have errors. So probably not. Or you really have a dumbass person working for you, not my client, the person paying them. You
yeah.
really have an idiot doing your ACH processing that they don't know how to add up. I,
Well,
it's
and
one of those.
how hard is it to see an invoice and type that amount that is reflected on the invoice? Like, I don't get that.
Well, okay, part of it, and this is why I go down this rabbit hole with fraud, is so another red flag. When they need to turn a single invoice into from that my client sends, and then on their end, they create 3 pages for that 1 page invoice. Why do you need that much paperwork?
Hmm.
You're literally creating more paperwork, and that anytime someone creates more paperwork, when someone talks too much to me, when they're overusing words, that's my sign. I've never been wrong on that. You're if you need to talk and talk and talk and talk to explain something, if you need too much paperwork, you're hiding something. You're hiding your true intent.
And especially if there's a change in behavior, if there's a kind of a switch that flips with somebody and they go into verbal diarrhea,
Yeah.
they're trying to figure out their mouth goes quicker than their brain, and their brain is trying to figure out how do I get out of this, so they just
Uh-huh.
start saying, and
Don't get me wrong, I'm a
gosh,
talker, but when I first get to know somebody, I just sit back and listen and watch and observe. That's what I do
yeah,
to figure it out.
um,
Like, let's size this up. Let's size this situation up. So, they turned literally. I have them here. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. They turned 9 invoices into a 36-page document. 36 pages. Ours was 9 invoices, 1 page. Totally
yeah,
lost on that.
um, well, and I know that this is a common, it's not a common example. This one client in particular has common or recurring issues, I want to say, where there's always something that, because at the root cause was really bad intent from somebody,
Hmm.
that's messed him up and the business for a long time. And you're essentially gardening and weeding out all these issues, and it's like, oh my gosh, there's another one. There's another one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
And the thing is, this fraud, we're talking about this. Like, this is like, okay, this is intentional fraud, right? There's also f- people, and we see it often because we're constantly onboarding, which is amazing. Unfortunately, when we onboard 9 out of 10 times, we have a client going, "Oh, well, we've done our own bookkeeping." And I now explain it as I don't explain it as errors anymore. I tell them, you may not realize it, but you filed your taxes based on this because they know how to do taxes too. God help me. And you've committed fraud. You may not have, listen, fraud, intent or with intention or not, is still fraud.
Mhm.
So you may not have realized it, you may not have had the intention of it, but that's fraudulent the way you did it. And then we explain why. And they just sit there. You've seen it. They sit there and they're like, and they try to backpedal. And I'm like, it's done. It's over with. So I'm letting
and
you know why this is fraudulent and then what we're doing going forward because this can't exist anymore.
and then they explain to you that what you do is simple, but they've been doing it wrong the whole time. And I
Oh, it's
can't believe,
really simple for me, but I've done it for 30 years. So I'm glad that you think it's simple for me, but if you think it's simple for you, you've lost your mind. Yeah, I remember that comment.
yeah, I can't believe I blew up like that because
Yeah.
I didn't get aggressive. I got a little bit confrontational and a little,
I think you
I
were
don't know.
very defensive because you know my headaches every day.
I'm I'm getting to the point where I'm tired of people not valuing the work that we do. And if people think that it's as simple as categorizing expenses and that they can put stuff anywhere just to you know, get
Yeah.
an uncategorized asset set up. Oh, see? Mary's twitching,
Twitching.
getting Vietnam flashbacks.
Yeah.
Um, so, like, it's ridiculous.
And
Get
there
help.
are things that you're gonna trigger. The thing is also is you've done your books wrong the entire time. So then and your taxes because you've been doing your own taxes or just sending just sending your paperwork and going I to your tax preparer, your accountant, your CPA, whoever's doing it, and going, no, I vouch for those numbers so that the accountant will tell you if you're doing your own stuff, you're saying that you sent this to me, I don't audit it, this is all your responsibility. And that's fine too. The problem is that when you go, oh, okay, now I want to do it right, you're now sending a trigger to the IRS because everything's changed.
Well, and the other thing is, they don't realize the body of work that goes into fixing the mistakes from an accounting standpoint.
Mm.
Because that means that you've got to go back through all the books, redo everything, recategorize. That changes all the financial statements and all the taxes, all their upcoming
Mm-hmm.
documents. There's a lot of work that goes into it, so you're gonna have to pay the piper at that point.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that easy. So
Yep.
yeah. Um, let's
And
talk.
you're
Yeah.
I know you're getting into like into the next part, but leading into that, um, the one of the problems is that this tends to happen because there is not structure in place.
Mhm.
There is
Yeah.
not things set up, and you just started a business and went running and went, okay, we started a business, let's make all this happen. And so you don't have any processes set up. That's something that we're bringing on, business coaching, um, business services. You don't have admin help. That's something else we're launching. You need an admin. You need certain things. So this isn't just, hey, I want to do a business, I'm going to start one. You need to really think about what that looks like. What does that look like? Where's the money coming from? How are you supporting it? Who's doing what? You can't do everything. I can't
Mm.
do it. I can't do my job, let alone all the other crap I got to do. That's why we have a team. That's why Steven has his stuff and I have my stuff and everybody has their lane and they stay in it. But you got to think and map all that out. That's what gets you into trouble. Cuz then you go, "Oh, I'm too far deep in this hole." And then you just are trusting anybody that seems to be like, "Oh, let me help you out, let me help you out." And then you're screwed
Yeah.
because you're
And
overwhelmed and you've given access to them because you're too overwhelmed to deal with it. So take care of everything. And the next thing you know, you're being screwed out of what you've worked hard to earn.
it may not even be financially. It could be just data. You could have
Oh,
been
yeah,
data farmed. You could have been
yeah,
prevented the access from your data, and then you're
definitely.
starting from square one again.
Hmm.
The people just setting up spreadsheets and thinking they could just run a business through a spreadsheet. Those days aren't there anymore.
Oh,
The
yeah.
it First off, it's extremely inefficient because there's software out there that pulls in bank statements and does all of that and makes life easier. So
Hmm.
why would you, Mr. I don't know, car detailer, why would you spend 3 hours in a spreadsheet rather than letting software do it? And you don't know what you're doing, so you're just
Yeah.
gonna make a mess of it. So, oh, get help.
You're setting yourself. I mean, I don't do my own nails. I don't do my own hair. I mean, why would I? That's not
Me
what I.
neither.
It shows that you don't do your own hair. Uh,
I do
um,
I do my own hair, but it just goes
um,
shoot.
it's why would you waste time in it? And you're thinking you're saving money. At the end, it's costing you more because you're gonna need someone to fix it, and you're gonna pay the pretty penny for it. You're gonna pay a pretty penny for it. So you've
There's
just
always
cost
sticker
yourself more in the
shock.
end.
There's
Hmm.
always the sticker shock, and I try and let people know as we get into the discussion. It's like you would essentially be paying for an accountant as you go, or you're gonna get hit all at one time, and it's gonna hurt.
Hmm.
Um, we really do our best to take care of people, probably to our detriment. Um,
Oh, not probably. It's definitely to our detriment. I mean,
yeah,
I love what we do, but good God, sometimes it's just like I take technology breaks. You know that. I'm just done. Everything is muted, silenced, turned off. I just nothing. Can't handle it.
yeah. Um, it's it's a problem.
Yeah.
Um, but realistically, there's so many different ways of being defrauded. I got scammed for tickets before. It happens to everybody. um, the thing is, once bitten, twice shy is a real thing. You definitely
Yeah.
want to have that approach.
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah, I mean,
Here's
set up
something.
those internal controls.
Mhm.
They want you want to make that sure that you know what is happening. You want to make sure of that. Trust your gut. Take the time to figure it out. Take the time to assess the situation because if something doesn't feel right, something's wrong.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10.
Speaking of something wrong, um, payroll fraud.
Oof.
Um, if if somebody is trying to buy a new house, buy a building, get credit somehow, I mean, you've encountered it in court cases and stuff, haven't you? With
Mm-hmm.
alimony and all types of stuff,
Yeah.
where people have gone in, said that they make X amount of money, and it completely backfires on them when one, it's we know it's not true, but
Mm-hmm.
also the results and the cascading domino effect of what happens. So
Well, we've also assessed businesses, when someone's potentially buying a new business and we examine that. Uh, if you own the company and you say it's payroll, then you need to show me a W-2. Otherwise, it's just an owner withdrawal. Like there's that. Like And people don't understand that. But if you don't have basis in your company, meaning you've taken out more than what you've contributed, well, then you should be paying taxes on that. And that's payroll fraud
Yeah.
because you're not reporting your draws. You're not reporting it. Now, if you have a positive, then you're good. But I mean, it, payroll is W-2. That's what payroll is. Payroll is running it. Otherwise, you have 1099s. If you have 1099s, that's paying a consultant. That's paying a contractor.
Yeah.
You may not like that. I mean, people do not like that I'm that exact, but guess what? That's the truth. Because if you are running payroll for a 1099 and they're working 30 hours a week, you're telling them when they have to show up, when they leave, what they need to do, all those things. Guess what? They're not a 1099 in the federal or state government outlook. They are a W-2 employee. I don't care if you pay them 1099. They are classified as a W-2. And then what you're going to pay? You're going to end up having to pay all these back year taxes for employment.
Then there's the
So,
workers' comp. There's all of the
and
other
that's
stuff.
fraud. And people
Yeah.
didn't realize it. Oh, what? No, you did know. Our people know because we've told them. We've sent
Yeah.
out letters saying, hey, you've got to be either a company where we're hands off or you're W-2.
You know what a part of the problem is that you just explained? That sounds a lot like traditional accounting, Mary.
Yes. Yeah, traditional.
Traditional.
Yeah, traditional. I'm
Also,
funny that
also
way.
known as legal.
Right. Yeah.
Legal, illegal. There's,
Yeah.
there's, there's no gray area with this.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Um, gosh, gotta love them. Um, okay, so as we've kind of discussed, structure is massive.
Hmm.
Hiring a professional that knows what they're doing and has shown that they know what they're doing is a big
Yeah.
thing. Um, obviously, you can look at more segregation of duties between employees, basically dividing the labor so that no one person has too much access.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
that's one of the good ways of doing it. But again, uh, I said it earlier in the podcast. Mary's the best at what she does with forensic audits. Having a regular audit schedule is a good idea, um, especially if you want to protect yourself and if you think you've hired people that aren't as trustworthy as they should have been.
Hmm.
Um, but even if we go digging and we find nothing, you may think you've wasted money there, but you really haven't, because what you've done is you've given yourself a peace of mind,
Hmm.
that nothing was wrong, nothing's happened there. Um, and I think that's arguably why you hire professionals, whether it's legal,
Absolutely.
or even in the trades. You hire a plumber so that they do the repiping, install a toilet,
Hmm.
because if you do it, you're always going to have that lingering thing in your head of thinking, "Oh no, am I going to have water spraying somewhere when it
Right.
shouldn't?" And it's like that peace of mind is
Absolutely.
is huge and important. So,
Hmm.
what do you think? What other other areas?
Well, I think the only other thing to mention is that you're always going to have somebody. Bad people are going to exist. That's just part of life. So doing all those things, segregation of duties and your gut and making sure that there's not too much access and having strong internal controls, all that. Also, have a good environment. If you're treating people like crap, you're probably gonna get screwed at some point. I mean, I'll walk away if I'm done. You cause an issue with me that you're consistently treating me like crap or lying to me as a client, or an employee or a contractor. That's We're done. That doesn't go on. I do not play that game. Treat people nice. It doesn't cost you anything. It actually gives you years to your life. Just be nice. It's not that hard. Say thank you to the people that work for you and that work with you. Tell them thanks. Stephen and I literally don't end a phone call ever without going, okay, love you, bye. Every single time. Like in I don't know how many years.
I
Started
know.
thinking about that the other day. But we also say thank you for everything both of each other we do, and we thank our team all the time. We say it on here too, but it doesn't. I mean, we couldn't do it. I couldn't do it without everybody that we have working with us. There's
the
no way.
mental the mental toll all of this takes, we could not do it alone.
Mm-mm.
I do know how Mary's done it without me for so long. She's had a team around her, but it's been in a different capacity, whether it's been
Yep.
Joy, old
Yep.
Joy, whether it's
Yep.
been Dina, whether it's been Carla, whoever it is,
Yep.
they've been that support system, and I'm grateful for them because I don't know how I'm gonna deal with this moving forward. Because there
And
was a
they
time
created the
this week where you
path.
didn't. The what? Yeah, they did, but you didn't say "love you" bye one time this week, and that hit me. No, I'm joking. Um,
No, I will say there have been times. There's been a couple times where I haven't. I don't know them right now, but I'll text it.
yeah, yeah, and I'll just
I
say fair
text it.
enough.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fair
Yeah. But
enough.
I mean,
Um,
really, just, I mean, if you can't be nice to the people around you, you probably are not being nice to yourself. So start working on that.
you
Uh,
you are opening yourself up to potential fraud because
yep.
if people don't like you and don't like the way you operate, they won't feel bad about skimming off a register or
Yeah, they won't.
doing stuff like
I mean, I would.
ultimately.
That's why I just
Yeah,
leave. But
yeah,
I just go
but
deuces.
yeah,
But,
there's
I'm a
people
rare
out there.
individual. We are rare people. So we'll just go
Hmm.
deuces. Well, you'll give them 1,000 chances. I
Oh,
just go
yeah,
deuces. Um, but
toodles.
yeah, toodles.
Yeah,
Just, I mean, be nice. If you're not nice, be nice to yourself. Start with yourself. Love yourself. I love me. I say it all the time. I love me some Mary.
no, a lot of people say that to you. Um, Mainly people that we work with, obviously, is what we hear in clients. But here's what I would kind of finish with: is when was the last time you, whoever's listening to this, really looked at your business, looked at your situation, and truly knew where you were financially, in your business, knew everything to the T? If you haven't done an audit in a while, definitely worth looking into, especially with all the stuff that's going on in the world. Um,
Hmm.
Assess your current situation. Does somebody have too much access? You know, what company cards are out there? All these different things. Like, you definitely want to self-evaluate and have somebody come and do an evaluation for you. Like,
For
um,
sure.
having a third party do an audit is probably always a good thing because they're unbiased. If you have a
Yeah.
controller do it for you, they might fudge the numbers, be fraudulent. I'm not saying everybody will do that, but it's happened. It
Hmm.
will happen, continue to happen, but there's ways
Absolutely.
around it. Um, if anybody wants to schedule a consultation with us where we can run through a few options. I put my teeth back in today after this, don't worry. um, then let us know. You can go to peacelovebiz.com or call 844 peace 20. We'll be happy to talk to you, see what we can do to help. Offer you that peace of mind, that security, so that you can sleep at night rather than wonder if somebody's taking off the top. Because that, Lord knows, nobody's taking off the top of my head.
It's all gone.
That's gone. Um, yeah. Final thoughts, Mary?
5 days. So if you need an extension, get a hold of us. We'll get an
Yeah.
extension in for you. Ain't happening before then, but the extension will happen.
Yeah.
Take some time,
Um,
love yourself, be nice to people. That's what I got.
yeah. And if you think that this was valuable to you, share it with any business owners that you know. Um, we appreciate you. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. But yeah, go to peacelovebiz.com, schedule your session, um, and yeah, we'll be there to help. So until next time, have a peaceful week. I will try to. Mary will not. Um, we have several other ventures that we're working on, which may help us through everything else. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah,
We'll
but
get there.
yeah, we'll get there. Till next time, we
Till
will
next
see
time.
you later.
Thank you.